So it's been a little over 3 months since we first indexed that domain, New.to. I want to walk you guys through some updates before we dive deep into all the link building. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is covering this sitemap structure really quickly. As we covered in the last video, a lot of pages have been published. I've been following that up with now bars has been published and for couples as well. And this last thing is this restaurant page. So individual restaurants will now have their own page. And as a result, I'll be able to publish 7,000 plus pages. It will basically look like this guy right here. So I'm excited for that. Not too much content here, but it should rank decently well. Not too many websites competing for those individual restaurant pages. So we'll see how that does. Now, how's the website doing in terms of overall performance? Well, as we can see, we're still very deep in that sandbox. And again, guys, it's been a little bit over 3 months and we're in a quite competitive niche, which is that travel niche. So didn't expect anything this early, but what's going to make the biggest difference right now is working on the website's authority and getting a bunch of high quality backlinks to it. And now I wouldn't usually start buying links this early and being this aggressive with it. I'd usually try and balance it with something like Hero, building some type of link bait amongst a bunch of other things. But I felt like it was a great opportunity to show you guys what some of these well-known link building services look like. So I kind of went all in. So in this last month, I've spent $2,500 on backlinks to kind of have that initial push. Now, in terms of the impact of these backlinks, it's still kind of hard to see since a lot of these links are just trickling in the past few days. But with the 2.5K, I was basically able to get 14 high quality backlinks, which means it was an average of around $180 per backlink. And we basically went from a domain rating of an 8 and URL rating of 10 for that homepage to a domain rating of 10 and URL rating of 16 for that homepage. Some other URLs also went up, but this is the biggest noticeable difference. And again, I do expect that to grow a little bit more as some of these other backlinks come in. Let's talk about how I spent this money and what these type of backlinks look like. So I ended up spending around $700 with Authority Builders, $500 with FatJoe, $1,000 with RhinoRank, and $200 on Upwork with a phenomenal guy that I found on there. All right, so let's start off with Authority Builders. This is definitely the most requested service. And so I basically started off with a guest post. Now, I won't be showing you guys the specific URLs just for the privacy of the service. But if you guys want, you guys can go on Ahrefs, type in New.to and kind of do the math and see which backlinks match the specific metrics. But I won't be disclosing that information on this video. So anyway, guys, I did start off with a guest post for $200. And just in red, you guys can see where that backlink was pointing to. So specifically, it was pointing to a city page, not the homepage, for example. And so we can see that it was a domain rating of 46 with a URL rating of an 8, not bad for $200. And then I found out that Authority Hackers has something called an ABC campaign, which is basically a link building pack that you pay monthly and you have X number of links guaranteed. The cool thing about this was that it was basically a custom thing. So I basically had a contact inside of Authority Builders. So he basically analyzed my website and gave me a bunch of suggestions of what to do next and the best type of links that would help right now. And so we basically came to the conclusion that the best links would be links that are pointing to the homepage. And so we basically, for $500, we got these backlinks. So domain rating of 50, URL rating of 9, domain rating 53, URL rating of 9, domain rating 40, URL rating of 6, and 44 URL rating of 7. So pretty significant backlinks coming in as well for $500 a month, which basically means that per backlink, it was around $125 a month. And so in conclusion, guys, I personally think that the ABC campaign, it might be the best bang for your buck. So apart from having someone inside of Authority Builders that's going to help you and guide you, so it might be great if you're a beginner, you're not really sure in which direction to go for backlinks, you get some pretty high quality backlinks at a decent price. All right, guys, let's move on to FatJoe. So I start off with 2 blogger outreach articles for $120 each, so much more affordable. And honestly, the quality is not far off, guys. For 120 bucks, domain rating of 49, URL rating of 8, again, pointing to the city page, and another one, domain rating 26, URL rating of 2. So pretty solid for 120 bucks each, around $80 cheaper than that Authority Builder. And then I also got a niche edit for 200 bucks, domain rating of 30, URL rating of 3. So not bad. And this one was pointing to the homepage. So in conclusion, I think that FatJoe might have the best prices for scale. So if you're looking to get a bulk order of backlinks, they might be the best solution because of that price standpoint. It's also extremely easy to order. It's almost like a menu item. You just select how many backlinks you want, the specific domain rating, and everything is quite seamless. Let's move on here to RhinoRank. I honestly hadn't heard of these guys before. They were a little bit more expensive than the other 2 services. so $250 for each blogger outreach. But check out the results, guys. Domain rating 73, URL rating 13. And this is actually the first blogger outreach that had some organic keywords that it was ranking for, which is decently good news. Again, this was pointing to the homepage. And here's the other one. Again, domain rating of 60 with a URL rating of 11. Not bad, pretty significant stuff. There's another one that's coming in that's pending. And then check out these two other niche edits between $150 to $200, depends kind of on the quality. We got this one, which is kind of outrageous. So domain rating 52 and URL rating of 18. This is exactly the type of backlink that we'd like to get, right? We want backlinks from pages that are being shared, that already have their own backlinks, and that ideally have their own type of traffic, right? So this is an ideal type of backlink. Bunch of referring domains coming in, some solid organic keywords, and ideally we'd have a bit more traffic, but this is a great sign and a great type of backlink. And here's the other one, domain rating of 40 and your URL rating of 6. Now this one's going to the homepage and this one to the city page. And in my personal opinion, I think RhinoRank might have the highest quality backlinks, even though they might be the more expensive. That kind of makes sense, right? Sometimes we have to pay a little bit more for things that are a little bit nicer. And the last thing I want to talk about is Upwork. And I've been on Upwork for years trying to find people to help me with SEO projects. And I recently found a guy, and I'll show you guys the profile in a second. He was able to get me some pretty solid backlinks for a pretty affordable price. So the same kind of quality as these other massive link building services, domain rating of 40 with a URL rating of 6 for only $100. All the content was written, everything was done by him. And there's another one coming in that I'll show you guys in the next video. The cool thing about this guy from Upwork is that he actually went through a whole process that makes a lot more sense when you're kind of building these links, right? He made an initial analysis of my website, recommended a bunch of strategies, and ended up sending a bunch of websites that he's been in contact with that he thinks we could get some type of collaboration. So here's the list. I've blocked it out. We have the different categories, the Ahrefs traffic, and also the local US traffic, which actually happens to be my target audience. So he kind of broke that down a little further and showed me that those potential backlinks are getting traffic from my target audience. He even went a level deeper and made a whole video talking about all the different pros and cons of all the different backlinks. And I honestly can't recommend him enough. I have absolutely no affiliation to him, but he did a phenomenal job. So definitely worth a shout out. So I'll add a link to his profile in the description of this video. Let's talk about overall what I thought of this experience. So first of all of these links were highly topically relevant. That was quite an easy thing to set up. And it's basically a priority for all of these link building services. They want to make sure that they're actually getting a topically relevant backlink for your website. And it's also important to add that the travel niche is also quite popular, so there's plenty of options. Almost all of these links that I bought had no keywords that blog post was ranking for, and basically no traffic coming in. Now, this is kind of a red flag, and ideally we would want to get backlinks from blog posts that have traffic and that are ranking for keywords. That's the greatest show of trust that Google can give a website. And if Google trusts a website, we'd love to be affiliated with that website. But regardless, guys, that is still quite rare when you're buying some of these links. A lot of these services will guarantee a minimum of X amount of monthly traffic to the domain, but that doesn't mean that that page will have that specific amount of traffic. Now, all the content was written for me and the quality was decently high. And at the end of the day, guys, the results will say whether it was a worthwhile experiment. So far, all I can say is that these services were easy to use and they all have their own specialty, but they all kind of provided decently high quality backlinks. So what's next, and will I keep buying backlinks? Well, I think that buying backlinks can be great in the short term, especially if you're starting out. You want to give your website that initial boost, but over time, I would try and balance that out with more natural link building strategies, doing outreach yourself so you're more in control of the websites that are linking out to you, creating some type of link bait, and using something like Hero, which is what I'm going to focus on next. So that's basically phase 2 of the link building that I want to do for New.to. I now want to start doing Hero quite aggressively, and there's a bunch of different avenues that I'm trying that I'm excited to talk to you guys about in the next video. And I'm also going to be working on link bait, which all I'm going to be doing is basically sending out an email to all of those restaurants, so 7,000 plus restaurants, saying that they've made it on New.to, that they've ranked in the top 10, top 5 for whatever restaurant category that they're in, and trying to see if they give me a backlink with some type of badge attached to it. We're going to see exactly how we do that. And ideally, I'd love to automate it and share all of that with you guys. So hopefully we get some hyper relevant backlinks and we slowly come out of this damn sandbox. Looking forward to sharing all of it with you guys really soon. I'll see you guys in the next one.